Welcome to the show, Kevin Rowland.
Thank you.
And also Billy Adams from Dexys Midnight Runners. Hi, Billy. Now, it's taken a long time, Kevin, to get this LP out, hasn't it?
I suppose it has, really.
A couple of years. I mean, it's 3 years since the last LP, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's just how long it's taken.
That's just how long it's taken.
It's taken 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it wasn't like a conscious decision to take that long or whatever, you know. I think we're quite prolific, really.
What was actually happening immediately after Tour IA and everything, and all the success with that, around the world, indeed? What was the immediate thing that followed the success of that record for you?
Touring, really, weren't we?
Yeah, we toured a lot. We toured quite a bit. I mean, we went to America and everywhere in Europe. Then we came back and started again. Just started all over again. We wanted to start from scratch, you know. We felt we didn't have anything that we could build on, actually. You know, we just felt we didn't really go anywhere. We weren't going anywhere, you know, with the last group. So we disbanded it and reformed, started again.
And yet, from the outside, it looked like an awful lot was going for the last group. I mean, you had a very successful LP and a load of hit singles. And it was all very exciting and fun from the outside. Yeah,
well, it was good, you know. There was some good things that we did, you know. I mean, there was some good tracks on the LP and everything. You know, there was some good records that we released, and we did some good shows and that, and we enjoyed it, you know. But we just felt that it wasn't something you could build on. That it wasn't a really long-term thing. The group we had and the ideas we had, you know. We knew all along that it was only a matter of time before someday we have to say, okay, well, after that date, that's when we stop, and then we just start all over again. And what we wanted to do was build something that we could work on and that we could develop over a few years, and that's what we've done now.
In a sense, that would explain why it does take maybe 3 years to get a new LP together. Because if you're going back to basics, that means an awful lot of thinking and groundwork has to be done again.
Yeah, well, not only groundwork, but I think that's how long it takes to write songs, you know. That's how long it takes to do a good LP. I mean, anybody can. I mean, we could have rushed in and done one 2 years ago. Anybody can do that.
It would have been no good, would it? You've got to have time to spend on the songs once you've written them. You know, we can't write them in a week, you know. We can't write an LP full of songs in a week.
Isn't there a danger of getting a bit too intense and a bit too sort of self-analytical and questioning yourself too much if you spend a long time putting something together, though?
Well, far less, actually. The opposite. I mean, far less, because you have longer to live with the ideas and longer to reason with yourself or whatever, and I think ultimately you'll know when something's right. You're going to come out with the best thing. The opposite is true. I mean, if you go into a studio and you haven't got anything ready, you know, I don't know if this happens where, I mean, I heard that sometimes groups go in and they make up their songs in the studio or something.
As they go along.
Well, I mean, you know.
It might explain a few albums that we hear.
I don't know, but I mean, you know, I don't know what they sound like.
Well, how many stages did this LP go through then? I mean, how did you approach recording the thing?
Well, first of all, we stopped touring, took a bit of time off, and then started writing, you know, over quite a long period, that was, wasn't it? Yeah.
About a year.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I read stories that you'd presented a version of the album a while back, and then either you or the record company or somebody said, no, it's not ready yet, we got to do it again. Is there any truth in those
not
stories?
Not at all, it's never
all
got
lies.
to that stage.
It's all lies.
It's funny how the rumours start, though.
Yeah, well, they do, you know, it's just one of those things. On the contrary, I mean, on 1 or 2 occasions, people from the record company said to us, or said to me particularly, it sounds great, it sounds really good. And I said, no, this isn't finished yet, you know. Maybe they, to an extent, they wanted to release it before it was finished once or twice.
Well, they're businessmen. They want to get a record out.
No, they were keen to get it out, you know. They were keen to get it out, obviously, you know, and we were keen to get it finished, but there was no point in us releasing it until it was finished.
One of those things from Dexys Midnight Runners' new LP, Don't Stand Me Down. Saturday Live, Kevin Rowland and Billy Adams from Dexys are here talking about the LP and what they've been up to for the last couple of years and so. How did you actually approach recording this, Kevin? It's got a very nice live feel. It sounds like a group. You know, not like a sort of structured recording or something.
Right, well, that's true. I mean, most of it was done live, actually. Most of the recording was actually was played live, you know. We just
went in there and did it.
Well, not quite, really. A bit more than that, but you know,
we just rehearsed so we could do that.
Yeah, we rehearsed hard and long, you know, so that we could just go in and play it, you know, that people didn't have to use the technology to do a bit at a time or everything. I mean, it is a performance. Basically, we went for a performance. That's the best thing I can say.
Performance with feel too, because I mean,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
If nothing else, there is still a lot of emotion in what comes across on these grooves here, even though this is a compact disc without grooves. But it seems to me that gut feeling is still very much the way you operate. You seem to be a man with a lot of thoughts and a lot of messages still to pour out.
Well, I don't know. It's all in there, but you know, you have to see for yourself, really. You know, it's all there.
Yeah, all right. That last song is interesting, isn't it? I mean, this apparent connection, if you listen to the opening of the song, between boring pop songs sounding the same and political messages being the same or whatever. Can you tell us what the song is about?
Well, really, I mean, a lot of it, you know, is I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's to be taken some of it like the first verse, about the boring pop songs, too seriously. I mean, a lot of it's sort of got a comedy feel to it, really. There's quite a lot of comedy in the LP, and certainly in that song. So it's not totally serious or anything.
Do people take you too seriously then?
Well, I have no idea how they take me. I have no idea. But I'm just saying about that song. I think you just listen to the lyric. Really, it's all there.
Certainly, the press seem to take you very seriously, don't they? Still, they analyse or try to analyse every word that you write.
Well, I think they should. I think it deserves, an intelligent, critical opinion. I mean, we spend a lot of time on it, and I think it deserves attention.
Is there a message in the LP, or are there many messages, or whatever, Billy?
I don't think there's any messages. I mean, I'm not a postman or anything. It's just an LP, really. It's all the lyrics are there.
Yeah, there's not one thing behind the whole LP. So really,
no.
Well, I suppose if anything, it's just the music is the one thing in the LP, and each song has its own.
It's a complete
level.
thing, It's a complete thing that's something that's come about over the last couple of years or whatever.
Yeah, the songs are written over a period of about 9 months, to a year. So, and it is a complete sounding LP, but I wouldn't say there's any one message behind any of the songs or anything.
There's loads of things. There's ideas, thoughts, feelings, all sorts of things to relate, and they're all in there,
Seems to me, you see, that a lot of journalists think that you're trying to impose a point of view of yours or whatever on the listening public, and I wonder if that's true or not. Are you
trying to what?
Impose your ideas or thoughts, or are you just trying to make people think a bit?
Not at all. I wouldn't say that. I don't think we've ever tried to impose anything on anyone. Would you? It sounds
I don't think so, no.
strange thing to...
Like what? Like what thoughts am I trying to impose?
Well, political thoughts or, things like that.
Really?
Yeah. Was it the NME that said that Kevin Rowland is going out of his way to rock the boat?
Oh, that's just stupid. I mean, I read that review, and that's just obviously written by some young kid. Just pathetic. It was just a really pathetic review, I mean, it's not even worth commenting on that type of thing,
We won't waste the time. then.
No, definitely.
Shall we play another track? Now, this is a very long track on the LP, which is called This Is What She's Like. 12 and a half minutes. But
Yeah.
you say it's the key track, at least for you.
I think, I wouldn't say the key track, it's one of the principal tracks on the LP. I think it stands up pretty well as a guide for the LP,
Yeah, it was written pretty early on, wasn't it,
Yeah.
as well? That's where a lot of the other ideas came from, I think, after that.
Yeah, it was the first one that was written, and it kind of led the way a bit.
The launching pad. It starts with a conversation.
All right, Bill. All right.
This is what she's like. Dexys Midnight Runners. The LP is called Don't Stand Me Down, and that rather long track, a key track in as much as it was one of the first that you wrote, Kevin, for the LP.
For this LP, yeah. It came first, and then I think it probably influenced a few of the others with us, really.
Right, Saturday Live, Kevin Rowland and Billy Adams of Dexys Midnight Runners talking to us. Interesting start to that, Billy, the conversation bit. What was the idea behind that?
Well, that was something that developed, really, when we were touring, after the last LP. And some of the songs on the last LP, we'd start to talk during them, that kind of thing. And then another song we recorded just before we stopped, to write this.
Reminisce Part 1.
Reminisce Part 1, a B-side of Celtic Soul Brothers. It was the same kind of style,
Yeah.
We just thought we'd develop that further.
It's unique. I don't know any other group that's done this conversational bit before.
Uh-huh.
Do you? Can you think of anybody?
No, I don't think so.
No.
But a lot of it's, often the conversation might be over music or whatever, but that one, we just left it without
just
music.
there on its own.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
The LP recorded in several studios, in fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Well,
Just the time it took,
Yeah.
really. That we'd go to one studio for a couple of weeks, and then the time would run out there. And
kick
we'd
you
have to
out,
go
eh?
somewhere else. Yeah, there was no more time available there.
How many places did you go around? I mean, was it all
I hate to
recorded
think,
in
really.
London, or did you go
Uh,
around the world a bit?
Well, we started off in Montreux in Switzerland, did quite a lot in London, a bit in New York, then back to London again.
yeah, we finished it up here.
What does the travelling around do for the LP, do you think? I mean, some
Well-
people might think it's rather extravagant to go all the way to New York for a week or two,
Well, I don't know really. We went to Montreux for a start, and we thought we'd like it there. We went over and saw the studio. We didn't like it there, so we came back and we did some work in London.
I suppose the vibe, as they would have said in the 60s, of the town does somehow soak into the performance.
Well,
that you do,
it's
or
like this.
something.
Maybe.
It's the way you feel when you're
It's
going
the
in
way
the
you
morning,
feel.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to the studio,
Yeah.
from being outside in New York, as opposed to being in London.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say that New York is this great place where everybody feels great and it makes you perform. Nothing like that. Just that when you go somewhere totally different and you bring something with you that's totally familiar to you, I mean, just you look at that thing differently and it sounds slightly different.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we did it.
Is it true, the story I've read about you having a bit of a row with Alan Winstanley over the production of the LP? in which
Well-
Alan was involved, and then in fact found that he couldn't continue or something. I mean, what is the story? Because you've produced it yourself now, right?
That's right, yeah. Originally, I tried another producer. I tried a producer to start with, an American producer, for the Montrose sessions. And that didn't work out really. You know, it didn't work out really well. He wasn't the right one. So I came back to London and decided that I was going to produce it myself. But I said what I'd do is work with Alan Winstanley as an engineer, you know.
Mm.
He agreed to this. I think we gave him a kind of a half a producer's percentage or something like that. And
Right.
so he was happy with that financially and everything. But I made it quite clear that he'd be getting an engineer's credit, and that, you know, I didn't want him to produce it, but I wanted to engineer it because that is his basic function anyway, even in his production work.
Mm.
So that went along quite well, and I didn't want him to mix it anyway, and as it happened, his time was up. So Pete Schweer made a really good job of mixing it. And anyway, Alan Winstanley hasn't even heard the LP.
Yeah, as a producer, he hasn't heard any of the songs yet, so...
It's a joke, but anyway, he had to go to court to say that he produced it, so...
Yeah.
I mean,
you settled it,
he's
yeah?
won, If he must be happy, that's great, you know.
So it's settled. All right,
Yeah.
OK. Let's play another track from this LP. Actually, this is Reminisce Part 2, which sounds like another sort of autobiographical thing. Here we go. Reminisce Part 2, Dexys Midnight Runners from their new LP. If you just joined us, well, you've missed the major part of an interview with Kevin Rowland and Billy Adams of the band. But a couple of extra things to ask here, Kevin. How much of a real group is Dexys now? Is it just a few people together, or are you this extended 11-piece that is on the LP?
Well, it's different now to how it ever was. Main thing is the hardcore of the three. You know, the main Dexys nucleus is myself and Billy and Helen O'Hara. Three of us are closer now than anybody ever was in the group, or any partnership, or any three, or whatever, at any time in the group. Outside that, there's 11 of us, and some of them have been with us for quite a while. You know, there's people who've been working with us as long as 2 years, or whatever, and there's some people who haven't, you know. But the whole thing is a very close unit anyway. They're known by no means session musicians. They're permanent band members. They've been with us a long time, and they will be with us. You know, they're contracted long term, whatever, and they're very important. You know.
This must mean, Billy, then some live work must be coming along
Oh,
fairly
yeah,
soon.
that's what we're working on at the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
We're rehearsing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going great, yeah.
What sort of show are you going to do? Will you be going back over any of the old material as well? Because there'll be an awful lot of calls for, you know, Come On Eileen or something like that.
Yeah, we'll do some of the old songs. It's just the ones that work best, really, you know, with a new group.
Yeah.
Because it does sound different again to the LP, even with these people at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
we've
moved on.
Even a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just bits and pieces, you know. We haven't really changed the songs, actually. The new ones, they've kind of changed them a little bit, or they play them, feel them differently, you know.
Yeah, it's the way they play, yeah.
Yeah. We'll be playing, you know, the best of the old songs, really. You know, whichever works the best.
The ones that feel right. There's a TV show coming up for you soon, but shame on you, you're not doing Whistle Test, are you? You're going up to Newcastle
Certainly are. Yeah.
to do a tube
Yeah.
special.
I think so, yeah. I'm not quite sure what date it's on at the moment. That's still under talk, but be the first week, maybe the tube, or the third week, one of the two.
Right,
That should
shame
be
on you, shame.
special.
It must be quite a nerve-wracking time now, actually. Record just about to go out, some performances just about to happen. Quite a lot to prove again, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's great, though, that it's got this far now.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to believe that
It is.
it's actually coming out
That's
now.
actually coming out, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long, and we've been working. We worked hard, you know, for the last couple of years, whatever, you know.
You must have another LP half written already as well, eh?
I don't know about that.
What should we do?
Yeah. I've seen another 5 years, you know.
All right, Kevin, thank you for talking to us. Billy, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure, yeah.
I think the album is going to be well received, and it's probably been worth that 2.5 years of hard graft in the studio.
Yes.
One more track from it. This is Knowledge of Beauty.